Hi, we are interested in how animal behavior under stress is related to that of humans. We all get stress, whether it be from school, work, or relationships. Stress can get to the best of us in a world of unending work and responsibilities. Stress can be a little vague, so what exactly is it? Stress is a biological response when an organism perceives a threat to their stable state, also known as homeostasis. But has anyone thought that stress occurs in animals too? Animals experience stress every day and all the time, and these stressors lead to changes in their behavior. Stress automatically seems like a negative thing since humans and animals can experience adverse effects in response to it, such as a loss of motivation and energy, or feelings of anxiety and depression once the stress passes. So, if stress produces these unfavorable effects, then why is it still around? From a biological perspective, stress makes sense. It can actually be a good thing because it creates strong memory cues to know how to better react and survive previous almost fatal situations, and can even work to fight infections and strengthen immune systems. So, yes, stress can actually be good for you, and why it is still present. But why should humans care about animals' responses to stress? Can their behavioral responses to stressful situations help us? The main motivation includes trying to find new information to have a better understanding of our own health. Through our ancestors and animals that share similar DNA sequences to us, we are able to better predict our futures.
We are interested in seeing how animals' responses to stress as a behavior is similar to that of stress as seen in humans. For the purposes of this video, we will focus on 3 different behaviors in response to prolonged stress exposure: motivation, social interaction, and sexual activity. According to previous and current research, these 3 behaviors are seen as a stress response in both humans and animals. The first behavior we will discuss is motivation. Based on Conrad et al.'s 2012 research including rats, he found that when rats were exposed to a stressful stimulus repeatedly, they eventually exhibited a lack of motivation to initiate a response to avoid that same stressful stimulus in the future. It is clear that chronic stress alters not just motivation, but also the memory and actions of people. In regards to human motivation, research shows that stress altered work motivation in a study by Liu et al. Workers at a job were becoming more tired when their boss added an excessive amount of work to be completed every day. Doesn't really sound fun. The workers had more difficulty completing their already normal tasks, which resulted in other people reporting feelings of anxiety in a post-survey. Just as rats learned to avoid a stressful stimuli when they were exposed to it repeatedly, humans became less motivated to work and began leaving their jobs when stressed and having too many things to complete at work. Next, we were interested in how social activity is affected by stress. Beery et al.'s 2015 study shows that shock exposure to rodents resulted in decreased levels of social interactions with each other, especially avoiding the dominant individuals within their community. This resulted in rat communities becoming more solitary and less likely to interact and work together to get food, causing a decrease in activity and health. In a similar research study, the Cohen et al. 1983 research team utilized a perceived stress scale in which college students ranked how stressed they felt in response to various stressors and what they would do if in a social situation with someone else. Cohen and his team found a correlation that highly perceived stress levels determined by the scale were associated with increasing social anxiety, which ultimately made it more difficult to make friends and have other social contacts.
Finally, we probed how sexual activity is altered when an individual is exposed to stress. A study on zebras found that females were less sexually active while under stress because their nutritional needs were not being met, from the Woodgate 2010 paper. As a result, some females did not choose mates during seasons when nutritional standards were not met. Nutritional stress also led to most females being lighter in weight and about 3 times less active than normal females. On the other hand, Bodenmann's 2010 research observed a negative correlation between stress and sexual activity. The more stress an individual endured in his or her daily life, the less sexual activity was present between dating couples. This was an important study because it identifies how stress can directly impact relationships, so people can work on their stress levels in order to maintain one.
We found 3 strong observations linking animal stress reactions to humans. Not wanting to do things, shying away from others, and having less sex are behaviors seen in both humans and animals. The findings provide us with insight that animals and humans exhibit extremely similar behavioral patterns while undergoing stress. Humans and a rat you find on the street are actually similar with how they respond to stress. Who would have thought? We all go through it, animals included, but it isn't necessarily a bad thing. It can help us realize when something is wrong, and that we must do something about it to go back to feeling normal. From this research, we may be able to look further into cases of shared stress behaviors and possibly be able to learn more about and come up with better coping mechanisms and solutions for anxiety disorders, depression, and PTSD. Thank you.